was just trying to say was that in making a tribute, to a shout out to Leonard Nimoy, is that we just say, live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.
And I'd just like to say that of all the actors, his soul was the most human.
That's a hell of a call for every actor ever.
It's a Wrath of Khan reference. They don't know what it means. They know.
The best thing was the astronaut on the International Space Station, who did live long and prosper through the window with Baltimore? Boston is his hometown, between his fingers, which was a magnificent thing to do. Absolutely brilliant, because you've got a generation of astronauts who are inspired to go up because of that, yeah. Because of Star Trek, that's what they're there for.
Well, yeah, but see, I think the argument that was that all I was saying was Leonard Nimoy has done a lot more than that character, as has Shatner. And all I was just trying to say was I thought that there would have been a good way of making a tribute to him by talking about other things besides just Star Trek, because everybody is probably making some form of tribute to Leonard Nimoy as Spock in Star Trek, wearing ears or, doing the fingers and all that.
My only point was that the only things he's known for in England are Mission Impossible, which we haven't had on the telly for the best part of 40 years. And that's it. And the thing he's most known for in England is being on Spitting Image as a puppet, who would protest that he wasn't Spock and go, I am Leonard Nimoy, to be or not to be. Okay. That is a logical captain. And it was a warm-hearted, lovely tribute from people who liked it.
Can I just say, if he just is known for Star Trek, that's not a bad thing to be known for.
That's enough.
Well, yeah. All I was just trying to say was there's so much more. Paris and Mission Impossible was amazing. Mission Impossible, that series was failing by that point, and he was part of the revitalization of it because Martin Landau was such a standout, him and his wife Barbara Bain.
But that's it, who knows anybody in Mission Impossible apart from Landau and Bain? In England, we didn't have it.
In the 1986 and 1987, he was the top director in the world as well, because and Star Trek 4. I'm not saying
that the Baby is nothing to hold on anyone's CV.
No, I'm just saying he does.
Yeah, what I was saying was that he established himself as a director, and it was a film that people liked.
It was massive. I went to see it. It was awful. It's a terrible film.
Now we know why he doesn't like it.
Yeah, because I've seen the bloody.
Have you seen the Invasion of the Body Snatchers with Donald Sutherland?
No, sorry, the Sutherland version. Yes.
But that's Leonard Nimoy.
Fantastic.
What directed it?
No, he's in it.
Yeah,
he's in it. He was the psychic character.
So he did a couple of other small things.
Also, right?
He's known as a working actor.
He's known for Spock. It's not like saying Tom Cruise. You wouldn't pin Tom Cruise down and say he is Risky Business or he is Jerry Maguire.
You would slide across the floor.
No.
Jimmy
because he did Jerry Maguire.
I tell you what, as well, one thing that's overlooked is
show me the money.
Yeah. You had me at a hello, but
basically film
Nimoy played a big active part in Doctor Who returning, because Nimoy was going to direct Doctor Who the movie with Dudley Moore as the Doctor, and he stayed with the BBC and he championed it at the BBC when the BBC didn't want to make it. And if it hadn't been for him, like the sort of clout he had, the BBC might not have gone along with it. You know what I mean? And he did well.
That's such a spurious call. If it hadn't been for him 10 years before it was rejigged by the guy who had just been very successful with Queer as Folk in England and America and had championed Doctor Who as a fan, it wouldn't have been made.
No, it was.
It's nothing to do with Nimoy.
I love Nimoy.
Anyway, In Search Of was a great documentary series that ran for over 10 years. In America, it ran for more than 10 years. So what I was just trying to say is that Leonard Nimoy, big respect. As an actor, he's the man who's legendary. Absolutely. He's now passed, and all we wanted to do was make a respect for him. Thank you very much.
Absolute respect to Leonard Nimoy for being in the Bangles video for Hero Takes a Fall.
He directed it as well.
He did. With the Bangles.
He's the love interest.
But talking about more like an Egyptian.
No, but talking about proper Bangles when the Bangles were a good band, because the first Bangles album is a fantastic album. Walk Like an Egyptian is shite.
Can I just point out though that the irony of all this is that Ian actually does look a bit like Spock. Spock's
that is very ironic.
The irony of all this is I love Leonard Nimoy, I love Spock.
Well, please say so. That's all. Just please say so. Let's go to the credits.
What we said, if you're going to be famous for something, be famous for Spock. Don't try and build him up into something else on top of that. Be famous for Spock. It's enough. And be famous. And the most important thing he did, the most beautiful thing he did, was his last ever tweet. Life is like a garden. You have perfect moments, but you can't keep them other than in memory. Yeah. Remember him that way. That's genius. That.
Roll titles.
Let's have the music.
Essential.
All right, well, now, welcome back to the Essential and everything. As you can see, we're in a new place where we're looking for hopefully maintaining our acoustics, and you can hear us at a nice big booming sound on
God
the
help us
show.
if you boom any more than you were booming previously.
Well, I'm pretty much booming, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm bouncing off the walls at this point. But, so either way we look at it is that there was a lot of things that came up in the news today. And, you know, even though we usually start off with what's in your bag, you know, on the one hand, I did want to kind of like start off with a bit of a rant about the latest news that just happened, you know, about the Michelle Rodriguez comment. About, you know, being approached on the street by a TMZ reporter asking her she was going to be the new Green Lantern.
Oh, she approached on the streets.
Yeah, she came out of an event or an interview or something like that, and a TMZ reporter came up to her and asked her, "Hey, so I heard you're going to be the new Green Lantern." She's like, "What kind of crazy shit is that?" You know what I mean? It's like, and then she went on this whole big rant about like why are they trying to like steal like these white superheroes, and why don't you just like be more creative and just like make, you know, a female, Hispanic, you know, black, ethnic, superhero. But my point was, she came out the next day, you know, with her own personal video apologizing for her comment, and you know, and on the one hand, is rightfully so, you know, she felt that she had to make it because she exists in Hollywood and she wants to work. But what I felt was that would have helped her more is if she actually did some research. I'm pretty sure she has some fact checkers around her to tell her what the man was actually talking about. So Ian, I asked you, like, did you know, and Jamie, you knew of the actual character that he's talking about, which is Jessica Cruz, which is a Jeff Johns creation.
The thing is, did the reporter know about that character, or had he just heard Green Lantern?
You'd think.
Well, but you saw the picture that they put up next to her.
But that's not put by TMZ. That was put by somebody else. And TMZ is a trash site, isn't it?
Oh, it is. We're not saying how great they are, but what I meant is that there is an Hispanic female Green Lantern. And what happened was, I mean, so my rant really is that, I mean, with Green Lantern being the whole international space or interspatial, whatever you want to call it, cop representing, you know, we have all of these ethnic diverse Green Lanterns on Earth. And so what we have is just on the heels of Simon Bass, who was the Muslim Green Lantern, who kind of like really disappeared after he came out. You know, the interesting thing about Jessica Cruz is that I'm pretty sure you're aware of the Energy Ring, which is the evil Green Lantern from Earth 3. You know, the crime syndicate. Well, you know that. All right. No, but there's evil Justice League on another planet, right? You know them, right?
The Justice League Syndicate.
Yeah, the Justice League Syndicate, And so the Energy Ring got killed, right? And so when he got killed, his ring had to go find somebody. So what happened was that's what I thought was really interesting. So this evil ring went out and found this girl who was hibernating, really. You know, I mean, her backstory is just huge. You know, she was like hunting in the woods and like got attacked by these hunters, these other hunters and everything, and then she, you know, became what do you call like insular and isolated. You know, she was like, you know, like a pack rat. She'd be like in a bomb shelter, and so she was filled with fear, and that's what the ring was looking for, somebody who it could control. And she became the new Green Lantern, and now she's a member of the Justice League. And she battled the whole Justice League nearly to a standstill. And now, like, she's a member. But what I'm trying to say is it's a huge backstory for a new character, a different spin. And if Michelle Rodriguez actually played that part, I think it would have been amazing. I think if she would have thought about it, but no, it's a little late now. But I think if somebody in her team just would have said, hey, this is what they possibly was mentioning. But don't just apologize for the race statement that you made, which, you know, probably does need an apology of. But that's what I just felt that, you know.
I remember when I read Jessica Cruz, I thought this is the way to go, the Justice League, rather than kind of the Ryan Reynolds route. I thought this would be something more interesting than what was
You can't do the Ryan Reynolds route.
Ryan
Reynolds has ruined the Ryan Reynolds.
It comes with it. There's a lot of bad will there towards that film, from not just from superhero audiences, from everyone.
But that's the worst thing is for people who don't know, if they are giving it a bad rap, that's the problem. You know, so I mean, you know, we also had that thing last week, you know, on the same line about John Diggle from the Arrow, being approached as a possible Jon Stewart character, which I also think could work. Yeah. So, I mean, in essence, we know that there's going to be a Green Lantern Corps, coming out, and hopefully, they could go that route. But we also know that the Flash has built up Ferris Air, so they built up that potential for Hal Jordan, which would be great to see Hal Jordan as just a test pilot, hanging out with Barry Allen. So, I mean, possibilities are endless. But back to this particular story, I know you put it up. I mean, what did you want to say about it?
Well, I think there's no reason on earth why. I've forgotten the name. Michelle Rodriguez. Why Michelle Rodriguez should know anything about comics, other than here's Green Lantern, and someone walks up and says, "So is it true you're going to play Green Lantern?" And she looks at it and goes, "Hold on, what is this shit? Why do we keep stealing white people's superheroes?" Now we're talking about a woman who is Dominican Hispanic, and if I remember rightly, she's gay, isn't she, or bisexual?
Not publicly, but.
I don't know her, so if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I haven't announced it because I don't know it. But I'm under the impression she is. I could be wrong.
Not like there's anything wrong with that.
Well, no. I mean, the thing about Michelle Rodriguez is she's stunning. But there is no reason for her to read comics. We don't know if she reads comics. There's no reason for her to know anything other than the Green Lantern is this guy here. So she's going, why do minorities, and it's her words, not mine, because I would never use the word minority, because I don't think there's any such thing as minority, because I am a Welsh, Scottish, Irish, Jewish Scouser. I'm a minority. I'm as minority as minority gets, because everybody in Liverpool is an immigrant. Everybody in England is an immigrant. There's no indigenous people to England. We'll do the UKIP thing out of ours, but I don't believe in minorities. I believe in people. So if she's saying why, there you go, right on. That's socialism for you at work. If she's saying why are we stealing white people's characters, what's she saying it from? And she's saying it from a point of view of we don't need their characters. We should have our characters.
Yeah.
Well, so why should she apologise?
Yeah, but that's my point. Is that because she didn't know about Jessica Cruz?
She didn't know.
No. I'm talking about she has a team. She has a publicity team. They should have before she came on and made her own tweet, right? She said in the tweet that what we should do is create characters of ourselves,
it's
right?
Consistent.
And what she didn't realize, what she didn't realize was they did. That's what Jeff Johns did. Jeff Johns created a powerful Spanish female superhero.
Yeah, which she would be perfect as.
Which she would be perfect at. So she had a day before she went on, and that's what I think is embarrassing, because they should know.
It's consistent.
But she would have to have that background knowledge to know to ask the question.
Yeah, her team. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe a team's rubbish.
Yeah. Can I just say it's consistent? Michelle Rodriguez is married to Robert Rodriguez, the director.
She's not married to Robert Rodriguez.
She is. Honestly, check it out. She's married to Robert Rodriguez, and she was going to play Red Sonja in the Red Sonja film. And ISIS.
Why did you come up with these things? Because Robert Rodriguez was married to his producer, Evelyn Rodriguez, and he's not related to Michelle Rodriguez. And if he is,
you know what?
Evelyn Rodriguez.
I apologise. I just realised she's married to. Although she was connected with Robert Rodriguez to do Red Sonja, and he said something similar, but it wasn't taken.
Say it again now. I couldn't even edit that. So you want to say that Michelle Rodriguez was working with Robert Rodriguez on the Red Sonja project?
On the Red Sonja project. And ISIS, do you remember the ISIS TV series?
Mighty ISIS. Of course I do.
Yeah, she was linked with that. And Robert Rodriguez said something that was consistent with what she had said about white people, superheroes and stuff like that. But it wasn't, the media didn't pour scorn on when he said it, or maybe she's a bigger producer or director of Troublemaker Studios, and he said something consistent with what she said, but not as much scorn was poured on it when he said that.
But everybody. I mean, it's just that problem is that it's like Chris Rock, coming out and everybody of a different color or different diversity has a problem with Hollywood because they're on the inside and they're not getting the roles that they feel that they should be getting. The roles that are being delineated are usually subservient roles and everything. And this is all indeed true. But unfortunately, this is the system that we are in, where it's like when people do make their own, like Robert Rodriguez has El Rey Studios, which hasn't done anything since the first series of From Dusk to Dawn. Yeah. So, I mean, to come out and say, I'm going to create my own television network and then don't show anything, I really don't understand what that's all about. But he could be making a Spanish, creative superhero. So my last point on the rant was, get your facts right, because Jessica Cruz would have been a fantastic role for Michelle Rodriguez if she actually would have checked into where that whole idea came from. Then she could have apologized for making that statement, because that's what it was. They were making a Spanish character. They made two Muslim characters. We talked about Ms. Marvel last week. Yeah. So, this is original characters. This isn't like the white superhero that she said, how come we taking all white superheroes? That's stupid. It's a stupid comment. Black Panther is not even a white superhero. White Tiger is not a white superhero.
But she won't know
anything. So, Cage.
She's not a comics reader.
Well, get your facts right. That's all I'm saying. It's a rant.
She's approached by some hack. Sorry, TMZ. Some hack from TMZ. Who was asking her a question? Yeah. She's doorstep. Bang! What are you talking about?
It's spin. The media puts a spin on certain things. Like
media spin.
You could go to an actress and say, "Would you like to play for Liverpool FC?" And they say, "I don't know what Liverpool FC is." And the next day, it'd be so and so snubs. It's into a bigger issue than what it.
All right. So
it's easy. I know how to do pull quotes. Pull quotes the easiest thing on earth.
Yeah. So anyway, that was my present rant of what was presently going on and everything. So now this is a shock going to be for you and the audience, is the fact that Jamie actually went into the comic shop and actually was delivered.
He was served.
I was served.
Yeah, that's what he was served. Jamie got served, and so we're like, Jamie, what's in your bag?
Well, in connection to what we were talking about last week, right? Okay, because
you got to tell me you got Mandrake in there.
Possibly, but I'll get to that in a second. I've got a few emails regarding last week's show that we did. Okay. Yes, people who've seen it. So I would just like to get this is currently the top selling comic in America, right? Okay.
I dread.
This is He-Man, the Eternity War. He-Man, the Eternity War. You see what's happening here? Like, these are jocks, right? And they are insulting the nerd.
In what way am I a jock?
What way is he a jock?
I've crested 10 stone for the first time in my life. I'm 50 years old. In what way am I a jock?
I was a fat kid in school. If you had any idea what it's like to have a room full of lads laughing at your tits.
What?
No,
well, anywho, right, okay.
I took the abuse the other way around. I took the abuse from the fat kids because they join in with everybody else when you're skinny.
Is that right, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, so anyway, go ahead. So He-Man, the Eternity War?
The Eternity War, right. In connection...
I won't bend it.
That's fine, I don't mind it. It's actually, I'd just like to say, I've got a couple of emails where people said, I really like He-Man, am I not supposed to? The point of this is, anyone can like whatever they want. And
except He-Man.
God, I'll tell you now, Ian, you will be a convert to He-Man soon.
This looks more like She-Ra than He-Man, because I've turned in many pages and all I see is She-Ra.
It connects to both legacies.
Did you like She-Ra, Princess of Power?
No. I did, I loved it. If I was the right age for it though.
Why would I like She-Ra, Princess of Power, not even like He-Man?
It's fantastic.
I was 22 when these things played on the telly, the kids shows.
I'm like 32 now, I still enjoy cartoons.
Yeah, man, I was watching Thundercats in college.
Fantastic.
I wasn't.
Yeah. He was watching Thunderbirds when he was in college, right?
Hey, you know what? I looked at this whole thing and I still have not seen He-Man.
No, it's the Eternity War, basically. It's kind of like a search for He-Man.
No, but it's He-Man's name on it, but it's actually a She-Ra book, so don't buy it.
No, I just like to say, right, it's been remolded and restructured because Warner Brothers are going to do the movie version in 2 years' time. Now, mark my words, it will be a big movie because you've got the kind of Lord of the Rings aspect and Spider-Man too. Sorry?
Stan Abnett?
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, Dan Abnett and Andy Lannon?
No, just Dan Abnett. Now the two of them don't work together anymore. There was a falling out, apparently.
Oh, wow.
I don't know any details, but apparently there was a falling out post.
They were a really good team with the Legion of Superheroes, by the way.
Well, interestingly enough, just about the He-Man thing is that kids who are buying it now didn't have any idea that it was an action figure line and cartoon.
No,
what's Scarlet Witch doing here?
That's not Scarlet Witch, man.
That's
some girl with a scorpion tail.
That's Scorpio. Yeah, that's it, name it.
No, the girl next to her is clearly the Scarlet Witch.
No, that's
there's a bird who's dressed as a crab, and there's Scarlet Witch.
They're trying to confuse you. If you picked up the comic and looked at it in the shop, you might buy it because you might say, hey, there's Scarlet Witch.
And some bird who looks like a crab.
Yeah, well.
Anywho,
so is that all you got?
No, I have one more, right?
Alright, go for one more.
Now, this one, I think you will appreciate, both of you, I think you will appreciate this. Ian, I have to have your full attention.
You have
you had your attention. You know how we flip the books while we talk. We'll go ahead.
Hopefully, then. This is Mandrake the Magician 1, right? Mandrake, the magician one.
Mandrake, who was an influence on Doctor Strange.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, exactly. He was an influence on Doctor Strange.
Or was that Sargon the Sorcerer?
No. Mandrake was there as well. Mandrake was an influence.
Mandrake is like the original.
Mandrake is like 30s, isn't it?
Yeah, Mandrake is a pulp hero. He's like the original, magician hero and everything. And also, Mandrake had the first black sidekick called Lothar.
And a cool sidekick as well. Where in the newspaper strips, they used to actually tackle the racist attitude there, and a lot of the newspaper readers were like, "You can't talk about things like that." And we felt was like, I will talk about it while it's still an issue. And I think, in the 30s and 40s in America,
it was very strong. Yeah, very ballsy. I mean, unfortunately, when they made the movie serials, Lothar was either paid by,
it was,
not a black man.
It's actually, the movie that's in preparation now, Tom Hiddleston, Loki, is kind of...
Really? Tom Hiddleston's up for Mandrake?
He's going to play, hopefully he'll play Mandrake.
He's not going to be Lothar.
Oh, no, of course not. No. Although, if they do Michelle Rodriguez, will play Lothar.
So you're saying that Hiddleston is up for Mandrake?
Hiddleston is up for Mandrake, and it's ironic because it was partially based on Errol Flynn, the look at Mandrake, and kind of to a degree, and Spielberg actually said that Tom Hiddleston was like this generation's Errol Flynn. So but it's a fantastic copy. The artwork,
interestingly cartoony.
It's got like a kind of quirky edge to it. It's kind of, if Steve Ditko was illustrating, it'd be that kind. It wouldn't be just.
If Steve Ditko read manga comics.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I do think it's kind of more unusual to what it's being.
Let me ask you, since you were, proficient in Mandarin. I mean, what was his magic abilities? Was he like an illusionist, or was he a conjurer? Or?
Yeah, he was both. He could do illusion. He was a magician before he was
escape artist.
Yeah, all that. He was a magician before he was bestowed the powers, and he could do things because kind of like a mutant at puberty, he started developing all these like gifts that he didn't know what they were, and then when the wizard gave him the powers that he ultimately had to use them, and it's good. It kind of fitted with what he'd been doing his whole life up to that point.
I don't think that's how they played it in the movies back in the series.
Oh, probably not.
In the 1930s. He's more like a stage magician who probably did escape work and illusions and stuff.
It was kind of based on Houdini. It was a syndicated newspaper strip, as we said, and a lot of it came as it developed. So it started in the 30s in one way, and by the 60s, whatever, it developed into something.
As most properties have been.
Have you ever heard of Defenders of the Earth?
Yeah.
Yes. My younger son, has a VHS somewhere in the house that my father-in-law got for him.
Was that the pilot?
DVD 99.
No, they had a season.
And it was Mandrake, Flash Gordon, The Spirits,
The Phantom.
The Phantom.
Yeah. All the felt characters apart from Flash. It was Alex Raymond.
Yeah. But that's when you really saw Lothar portrayed as Lothar and all that kind of stuff. And they also had the Sons as well, so it was a way of introducing like a younger generation. Being able to allude to their past and being pulp heroes.
It looked an interesting take on it from what I saw.
It was fantastic, and to put them together like that. But in 1975, the Solkines, who went on to produce Superman the movie, optioned Mandrake, and they were going to cast David Bowie as Mandrake.
Oh my God! You contractually obliged calling David Bowie.
Yeah, and they approached Muhammad Ali to play Lothar, and Muhammad Ali was like, "You really want me to dress as a slave and put chains on?" And
Lothar didn't have any chains.
Exactly, but the Solkines.
But in comic books, Lothar had the loincloth, so that's
probably
it.
But
it's that kind of. Did you not spot the bit where I changed my name and said why?
Exactly. The Solkines were like, "No, this is how black people should be portrayed in film." And Ali was like,
Ali said,
Ali should have rumbled in the jungle. I just think that it's an exciting storyline, I think, and I'm glad that Mandrake's getting his due because.
Well, I'm glad you got your Mandrake as well. You know what I mean? Because you also said that you mentioned the Essential Show in a shot. What shot were you in?
Oh yeah, it was in Worlds Apart in Lion Street.
Right, and then the look of the dismay came across.
Yes, they looked at me as if to say,
surely not.
We call for the some with the stun gun to get him up there. But I mean, why would they make this up? I was going to make.
Well, let me just say, I love Worlds Apart.
I love it as well. I can't see because it needs comics.
It's one of my favorite shots, by the way.
I love Worlds Apart.
That, of course, in Forbidden Planet on Bull Street.
Okay, well, I would recommend both Man's Race and He-Man being the same.
Yeah, okay, that's nice. Okay, Ian, what's in your bag?
Well, it's a Monday and I haven't been in the town centre.
Oh my God, is that the final? Is that the epilogue?
So I have the epilogue to Spider-Verse.
Got my books.
I haven't read any of these yet.
Wait, hand it over.
I have bought, because I thought I had to, I bought Secret Wars. I'm 6, not Secret Wars, New Avengers. I'm 6 months behind on my Marvel Unlimited on the iPad there. But I felt that I had to read an issue of New Avengers that had Captain Britain with a beard, another Captain Britain, Spider UK, and a million dead Captain Britain.
Wait, a New Avengers? So that must mean the Spider-Verse guys are showing up in New Avengers.
It looks that way. There's certainly a Spider-Man from Spider-Verse.
Let's see.
I then bought Fantastic Four, The End is Forever.
Is that the final?
Not yet, no, it's still got a bit to go. I'm not even flicking
Look at
through
that
it.
cover, man. Oh, dear Lord.
But this is from the end of last week. This is with Sleepwalker.
Fantastic.
There you go, you can have it there, you can have it there. It's all over the place. Well, that
Yeah,
camera as well. So it's got Sleepwalker in. I don't know what's happening. I haven't even opened it. And Batman 39, because the reviews were so damn good. So, that's it. But what I actually want to talk about is what I talked about last week.
Okay.
Very briefly, Scott McCloud's The Sculptor, which is as good as I said it was.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I finished it. It's a fantastic piece of work.
Yeah.
It's truly beautiful and absolutely heartbreaking at the end.
To me, it reminds me very much of like a Harvey Peacock kind of.
Yes, but with a heightened magic realism.
Yeah, that kind of. Yeah, it's got like it's a bit more epic than.
It reminds me of sort of who were the magic realists? Gabriel Garcia Marquez. That kind of heightened reality to it. But the other one is Shutter. That I said I bought on a whim. I bought it on a whim and I read it. And this is the best advert on earth for reading something in a trade rather than reading in a single issue. Because if I'd read the first issue,
would you be like, yeah?
Yeah, I'd have been like, yeah, and. But this, it's bizarre. It starts on the moon when Kate Christopher is 7 years old and continues in New York when she's 27 years old. Yeah. And in the meantime, she's lost her father somewhere, being not entirely sure where. Her father was a great space explorer. Kate was a great space explorer. They had many, many amazing adventures, none of which you actually see because they're all in the past. She has a best friend who is a robot cat with a clock on his
This is amazing.
Clock Cat.
Oh God!
And it's set in New York that you don't know because New York's covered in plants and there are dinosaurs. There's a gang of talking anthropomorphic lions. She's being chased down by giant lizards. She has family she's never met. There are huge space guns. There are samurai warriors. There are ghosts. There's everything. It makes no sense at all. It's quite brilliant. It's a phantasmagoria. It's got the same dream logic that Sandman has. It's like a mix between Sandman and Saga. So it's got a kind of grand overarching story, but you still have the feeling that they might be just making it up as they go along for the sheer hell of it. Yeah. There are characters you think are going to be major characters, and they're dead by the end of the first book. It's
reminds me of the first time I dropped that.
You got to the end and go, more, give me more now. I want more immediately.
Which is the key to brilliant storytelling. You've got to read the next part.
It's like her best friend is a transgender lad she met at school, who was a lad, is now a woman.
Right.
And it's not even a concern. He just is. That's just what the character is. And then you accept the fact that there are talking lions walking around, and there are ghosts.
That's like Commandy or something like that.
Yeah, it is. It's not that simple, but not set in the future. It's set
I know.
It's about 10 minutes from now.
Yeah.
In New York, you don't recognise. Even if you've not been to New York, you don't recognise it as being New York. But it is. It's enchanting and it's bizarre. And it lives completely on its own logic and its own dynamism. And I thoroughly recommend it.
Check that one out. I think
it's well worth it.
I like that with the rules of reality.
Bring it back next time.
Oh, cheers, nice. Thanks. Do you want to land the He-Man one?
No, it's okay.
No, that's alright. So,
I'll pass on to my son because my son's gone with it.
So the back here to see, so we read the first stuff.
No, he's in the
So as you know, it's like, Brooks is not with us today, and Jeff's sitting in the chair, and we didn't have any books with us, but what I do want to say is that what I saw here what I saw here is tomorrow comes Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Tomorrow in America comes Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And you bought this book in England.
Not in the real
world.
Tomorrow
comes Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Somebody will be watching. But
I wonder who.
And would it be illegally downloaded?
Would you stop with that legally downloaded word? I'm just saying this. Did you see the commercial? you could come through here. Did you see the commercial? The promo for it. It's playing here. I saw it in the car.
Oh yes.
But I mean, I love that line from what's the name, Daisy Quake. This guy who says, something's wrong. I feel so different. It's like I'm inhuman.
That's just
I'm pretty sure she says it.
I'm
pretty sure she says it a lot better than me. But
I'm just going to close that door over there because I have OCD.
I'll close the door for your OCD. I close the door. I have returned back to the seat. Sorry, you got OCD.
Oh, come on!
Sorry. It's okay.
Yeah.
You're almost a guest star.
No worries. Thanks, mate. Okay, so anyway, I mean, there's nothing for me to say about it. I'm just saying I'm just excited about it. But also too, it's like I'm also excited about this thing I saw in here about of course you guys are not watching the cartoons.
I don't watch cartoons with growing up.
All right.
It's not a new one.
That's awesome.
Web Warriors.
I read comics.
It's Web Warriors and everything like that. Jackson sees
It's not a new one.
It is a new one. If it's in the book, would you explain to Jackson that if it's in the book here?
If it's in the book I bought today, then it's likely to be a new one.
Yeah. So Spider-Verse, they had a cartoon version of Spider-Verse, like a 4-part on the Ultimate Spider-Man show, which is called Web Warriors.
I don't know because I don't watch cartoons because I'm a grown up.
You'd love this, Ian.
Is it good?
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. But I mean, I just saw an ad for it in here. I was just trying to get to it. But anyway, it says that there's another 4-part, Spider-Verse coming up because it just probably was so successful. And now that this is over, I have no clue how this has ended. But it looks
with a whimper.
It looks like it ends with a whimper. To be honest with you,
it was so disappointing the ending. But that cover's great.
But
I mean, and you have not read it.
No, I've literally bought 5 minutes ago and read it tonight.
Shame. I mean, maybe by next week we can be able to share our thoughts on how it ended.
And maybe bought some new comics.
Well,
that'd be me. By Thursday next week.
I've just got a quick question, Ian.
About Captain Britain and some kind.
Yeah, Captain Britain. I didn't see that. Is that how you Is that how you remember the because it was?
Yes,
but this is just bearded Captain Britain.
Yeah.
I don't even think that's Brian Braddock actually.
I think he's mentioned as Brian within it. I think.
Oh, is he?
Well,
I think what they're trying to do is give him that whole King Richard,
line off the Arthurian.
That's cool. But do you know the Invaders comic, Jack Kirby in the 70s? The Invaders.
I wasn't Kirby.
No, we did a comic.
Yeah, Jack Kirby did do
Invaders. The Invaders.
He's talking about when you had the Mariner with the
whole because the Invaders was Roy Thomas and No, it was an artist who'd been working since the Golden Age. It was a truly horrible artist.
Herb Tripp.
No, it wasn't Tripp. I've got to Google this again, aren't I?
What were you going to try to say about it while he did that?
No, I was just saying, is that how you see Captain Britain?
Yes.
The costume
but Captain Britain really wasn't in Invaders that much because you had Union Jack.
Oh yeah, that's Union
Jack.
Jack.
Captain Britain's nothing to do with Invaders.
So
Union Jack.
That's who he's sticking as Union Jack.
Yeah. But I love Captain Britain because in the 80s, you used to have Marvel UK used to do reprints of, and that way you get characters like the Black Knight and Captain Britain, and you might not necessarily see the bigger issues.
Wasn't a reprint,
wasn't it? Oh no, that was right. It was created especially for the Marvel UK comic.
Yes, it was for the whole comic, and it was very much it was written by I think Steve Moore and illustrated by Steve Parkhouse, and it was the Black Knight story. Yeah. And they found this character walking along the beach about 10 chapters in, and the character walking along the beach turned out to be Captain Britain. But it was all done in an alternate universe. It was 5 pages a week, black and white. Don't think it's ever been released anywhere, and it was brilliant.
It was exciting, like episode of kind of you couldn't wait till the next one came out.
No, it was excellent. I've got it in the loft.
Yeah.
So anyway, as Ian goes down the Canaan list, we move to our leaderboard, and so at the top of the leaderboard was this new program spin-off idea of DC All-Star. What is it? DC
All-Star Team Up.
Thank you. Yeah. All-Star Team Up. And what I think is this is just completely amazing. I mean, doesn't matter how far back you are in catching up to Arrow and Flash, but what it is it makes the most perfect sense because now that they've had such a huge success with the numbers on Arrow or the Brave and the Bold, the Flash and Arrow, and they already going to commit to doing that once a year. You know, they realize that, well, wait a minute, we've got Firestorm, we've got Adam introduced now, but we also got the Rogues. Yep. And because the Rogues are played by such popular characters as Wentworth Miller and Dominic Purcell, you know, they're like even talking about Captain Cold should get a show. You know, because his sister is now coming on with the Golden Glider and everything else. Yeah. So it's going to be too much of a flood, you know, because Greg Berlanti, who's the producer of these shows, has also now made a deal with CBS to do Supergirl.
That's right, yeah.
And he said that a part of that deal...
Which is going to involve... Helen Slater and...
Really?
Oh, what's his name? Played Superman, Dean Cain.
That's right, yeah.
Dean Cain's in it, Helen Slater's in it. They've both been cast. Don't know what they've been cast as.
Oh, they'll probably be cast as the parents. That'd be really
cool. That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be really cool. I just had a geek out right there. But but like what I was going to say was part of his deal was that he will be allowed to, if he wants to, put her into these other shows. Now they also got the Vixen cartoon, which is going to be set in that universe as well. Yep. So I know you don't like it, but so point is, instead of flooding September with all these new shows, because you have to have mythologies for these shows, and then you have to have their whole, you know, identities and creations and stuff like that. That, like, what they're saying is, let's just create All-Star Team Up, right? So if they create All-Star Team Up, which will be a Brave and the Bold TV show, each week will be an anthology. Meaning that, like, we can pull in Flash or Arrow and everything else like that. But mainly, we can actually showcase all these other heroes that we are introducing. Because if you remember that episode of The Flash, which you would have seen, when Dr. Wells ran down a list of names that died. Are you familiar with those names, Ian?
I can't remember any of them. They went past. No, you said Atom Smasher was one.
Yeah. So you had elongated. You had Ralph Digby. You had Ralph Digby, the elongated man. Beta Costa's Fire. You had Grant Emerson as Damage. Yeah. And Al Rothstein as Star Smasher or Atom Smasher. I keep getting that mixed up. But you also had Will Everett as Starman. Now the thing about it is that because he was wrong about Ronnie Raymond, right? You know, why can't he be wrong about those other characters? Yeah. But now that they've introduced time travel into the Flash, which you haven't seen yet, but they haven't gone into time yet anyway. So, but you know that they've already said that it's going to be a part of it. That they can do this whole time thing. So with All-Star Team Up, they can. The possibilities are endless. Yeah. So on Arrow, for example, they had an episode called Midnight City, which was, you know, in a way supposed to be an illusion and alluding to Dr. Midnight. Yeah. But then for some reason that didn't happen. But what we had was Wildcat, who was a vigilante back in the day. So, you know, which we had a little argument about.
So the space, depending on how successful Agent Carter was for Marvel, what the numbers were like, there's space for JSA to exist within TV reality.
Exactly. So this is what they're talking about, is they're talking about creating in Arrow a Justice Society, you know, and everything. Because at first they were going to go no powers, and now they're with powers. So now what it'll be is something would have happened in the past. But because Barry will be running back and forth now, he also and affects the past. So you've heard of this episode with Mark Hamill, haven't you?
Yeah, the Trickster one.
Yeah. So we're basically the most recent one. Tomorrow is the first Firestorm one.
Well, no, it hasn't happened yet, but you've heard. Everybody's heard of the story that Hamill is coming back as the Trickster. Yeah. Now, do you know that Hamill played the Trickster in the original Flash series?
And that was fantastic. That
amazing, isn't it?
Only ever saw the pilots of it.
His performance and the series in general was just...
That performance that got him the Joker voiceover.
Yeah, as an aside, did you know that Hamill was the same age that Alec Guinness was when he made the first Star Wars?
I saw that. Yeah, no.
It's not called A New Hope, it's called Star Wars.
Yeah, I know. I heard your rant on that. But, like, what I was just trying to say was, now, he'll say, hey, look, the Flash defeated me, and they'll be like, that's not possible. But then it's funny because the father is the Flash from that show, and he will be in prison with Mark Hamill. Yeah. So my point is that, like, this is just going to be amazing. Right. Like, the ideas are endless. So what I was going to throw it out, because as a suggestion, is like, who would you want to see in this all-star team-up show.
Well, DC have said this morning that there will be 3 characters in it. 3 established DC characters that haven't been in a TV show yet.
Yeah.
So the speculation is who's it going to be. Obviously, if time travel's out there, we're talking Booster Gold because he's already tried to pitch the Booster Gold TV show. That's right. If you're talking Booster Gold, then you're talking Blue Beetle. You've got that Blue Beetle, although he had pitched Ted Cord.
We've had the name Ted Cord in one of the shows.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But Ted Cord is supposedly being used as Blue Beetle in something else. Well, that seems to have fallen by the wayside. It was supposed to be used by a year and a half ago. So
he made a pilot on Smallville.
Oh, did he?
But that's not a part of this. They could still.
So you could use that. So you could have Jamie Ray's version of.
Well, that was the pilot. Jamie Reyes was the pilot, but they used Ted Cord. Where was it? Was it in Arrow or something like that?
He did. I think was
in the Ted Cord Industries, they mentioned or something like that. But also they mentioned Katie Lotz was one of those 3, but she's died. Right
on time travel.
That's what I was going to say. Now, what I was saying to Jackson, right, is that, like, because we have Wildcat, and Wildcat got his butt handed to him by Danny Brickwell on Arrow, right? He was like, hey, I was a badass back in the day. Yeah. So why couldn't he have, and it would just be so cool if he was involved with the original Katie Lotz Black Canary, and that's why he's in the way helping out her sister Laurel and training her to be the new Black Canary, because they work together. So why couldn't they do a past story with Black Canary, the cat, and the canary?
Fantastic.
They could do absolutely anything. There are no limits to this.
Do you know the Supergirl TV series? The Guardian.
He's
going to play. The Guardian's going to play a pivotal role in the Supergirl TV series. In fact,
it's not Jim Hammond. Something like
that. That's the original Human Torch.
Yeah. Jim. Yeah, okay, got it.
Go the Gold Shield.
The Jack Kirby Guardian.
Yeah, he's a cop, and then he puts on.
On the artist on the Invaders, Frank Robbins.
Right.
Terrible artist. Look him up. He's terrible.
I know who Frank Robbins is. Yeah.
Sorry, Frank Robbins' family.
Sorry, Frank's family.
Well, no. It was terrible. He had these really huge legs. He drew these
arms were always like that.
Yeah. You know what?
Like
he was the one who wrote. He was the one who drew the Invaders.
Yeah.
And then I said Jack Kirby. It was him. Yeah.
He also did a stint on Captain America as well. Frank Robbins could never understand why they were.
They all look like puppets on strings.
Yeah, I kind of treat like the foreshortening and that and stuff. But as I say, the Guardian is going to be in the Supergirl TV show. It's going to shape the Supergirl becoming a superhero basically.
It's a mentor role.
Because the story is that they wanted to use Superman, but they can't use it in that concept.
Superman is being cast. They've even used the word Superman in the casting call for Supergirl.
No.
Well, maybe.
Well, they have to, I guess. But it's going to be like always away or something.
You're probably looking at his back or something. They've asked for a muscular.
Do you know what?
They've asked for Superman's description and used the word Superman.
I bet Brandon Routh is killing himself. He kicked himself thinking, if I just waited and turned down the atom, I may have played Superman again in the Supergirl.
No. See.
I wouldn't want him to.
All right. This is one of those where I got to tell you what happens with the atom, right?
You can do because I'm not watching Arrow, so I'm quite happy.
He can fly.
The atom can fly.
Can he fly on phone lines?
Oh, that's
or actually fly?
He has his exoskeleton is they were ripping it on YouTube. His exoskeleton is like Iron Man. So, but his suit is blue and red, right?
Oh, this is
And so he has the armor suit and everything. And so in the last episode before they're on hiatus now, he takes off. And he actually looks like Superman, like under the camera and stuff. So I mean, it's like they knew right from the beginning. They're like, you know what? I mean, he's going to have to shrink. I'm pretty sure he's going to have to shrink.
Fly. Has he not shrunk yet?
No. He hasn't. No. Well, like I said last week, it's like he only mentioned once about the Dwarf Star, and like you thought it was a joke, but like the Atom. What happened was when the Atom, he was in a cave, and like he found the Dwarf Star meteorite, and when sunlight hits it or whatever, it caused objects to shrink. So what happens is that he said on the Arrow when he was putting it together that he used something from a Dwarf Star meteorite. So like he doesn't know yet because the Atom didn't know when he first got it. He doesn't know yet that he could shrink. You know, he just created a suit that will makes him super strong. He can fly and everything like that. He can't fight, word for name and stuff. But so he takes off and everything like that. But when he shows up in the pilot for All-Star Team Up, that's what we're talking about, All-Star Team Up, is that he shows up on the Flash. Right. We don't know how he shows up on Flash, but we know who the villain is, which is an Adam villain from, again, the Brave and the Bold cartoons.
The young Adam.
No. The
Bug-Eyed Bandit.
The Bug-Eyed Bandit.
Right, yeah.
Played by Emily Kinney.
Last scene with a hole through the middle of her head.
Yeah. From Walking Dead. So, I mean, like, the thing about it is, because they've ordered all these bugs, right? So, obviously, maybe Barry can't do anything about the bugs, and Felicity goes, hey, I got my man here, you know, he can shrink. So it will be an Adam and Flash team up, and that will serve as a pilot for the All-Star team up.
That's really...
The structure's brilliant. They've really got this nailed.
Well,
the planning's fantastic.
Maybe if they've got Superman in it, maybe the Guardian won't be used, or maybe he still will, I don't know. But
no, they probably will still use it, because if the Guardian is a cop, it's a way of grounding Supergirl, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I guess the question will have to be, like, if she's like, you know, like, why would take so long to fly or to go out there? So now they have gotten a Superman to be in it, you know. Something more likely would have happened that he disappears and she feels the need to replace him. I mean, even if, like you said, you saw in the casting call, there's no way. Why would I watch a Supergirl if I got Superman?
No.
You know what I mean?
You can't have Superman.
But you have her honoring Superman. You know, like the death of Superman, for example.
Yeah.
Right? They might do that, the Doomsday thing, where, you know, he's gone for a year or something like that, just so that way she could get on her feet. I want to live up to my brother's tradition. He was a big hero, but the problem will be is because her universe is in the Arrow and Flash universe. Yeah. You know what I mean? What is bad?
It kind of.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's not going to really make much sense bringing her over into the Arrow and Flash.
Yeah, it's really exciting, isn't it? You know.
But I mean, yeah. So I mean, so you saying, who did you say you wanted to see in the All-Star team up? You the time we were having a big argument about
Firestorm and like Young Wildcat.
Firestorm and Young Wildcat. What do you think about that?
Firestorm and Young Wildcat.
Well, the reason why you're saying Young Wildcat is because Wildcat got his butt handed to him.
Right. So he'd have to be, it can't be younger and more alert than.
Well, what they did in Arrow was that they actually mentioned. See, I mean, you could tell I'm a full-on comic geek. They've actually mentioned Tom Byron, who is the son of Wildcat, and so they mentioned him when Wildcat first started to put on, on the stuff in Arrow, and like he was in trouble with the cops and stuff. But we didn't see him. But the powers of Tom Byron was that he could actually turn into a Wildcat,
right,
and everything. So but the actor who's playing Wildcat got another show. Right. So, like, the thing about it is that, you know, that he could show up into that and everything. And that's what, so you just like the Firestorm, don't you?
I actually don't like Firestorm.
But you just want to see that as a team up there.
I was just making an example.
All right, yeah, okay, thanks.
See, as
yeah, right. Nice one.
As a reader of Justice League in the Giffen and
Keith Giffen and
DeMatteis.
J.M. DeMatteis.
J.M. DeMatteis and Keith Giffen in those classic days.
Oh, Blue and Gold.
I just want to see the Blue and Gold.
Yeah,
that's what I want to see.
That would be interesting to see a take on the Blue and Gold because they were so
team up.
When it came out, it was fantastic, wasn't it? The whole
stuff,
but then it just got so endless.
It got tired quickly.
Yeah,
but for that time, and if you go and do that, and if you want you Green Lantern, you use Guy Gardner.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Gnort.
Some of the effects. Let's just have the ginger blood in the back hole there.
What about you, Jamie? Then what did you want to see in the All-Star team up?
I'd like to see. Animal Man. I'd like to see him. I think that'd be a...
but they got Vixen, and they don't think that they got the money to do her in live action. So they're making a cartoon. They'll probably do that in a cartoon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I thought that I Love Animal. I think he's like quirky and that kind of. And I'd like to see that. Perhaps. Trying to think here, who would be a good. Mulling over the possibilities here, but I mean, the thing is with maybe the original. If you wrote the original Flash, the one with the like.
Or the Jay Garrick,
yeah.
Well, I was saying to Jackson is that in an episode of The Flash, in the early episode of The Flash, when he was teamed up with Eddie Thawne, that they captured some guy in the background that said Garrick's Wharf.
Right.
So it was kind of like nice nod to the name. But then again, there's also too is that you have what is really interesting about the Jake Garrick scenario is that if I could say is what would be great in this all-star team up because they said Flash and Arrow will also be used on that show. Is that to do the meeting of the two Flashes?
Yeah, the two world thing.
Flash of two worlds.
Yeah.
Flash of two worlds.
That'd be amazing if they could.
And I mean, because what we saw was a great nod to with Tina McGee being a part of Mercury Labs, Max Mercury and everything, is that this whole time travel has so many possibilities about like some could have happened that things got wiped away, but these heroes could have been around and then something happened and all this other kind of stuff. Yeah. So to see an older Flash, would really be interesting and stuff. So that would really be good. So anyway, I mean, those were like ideas for like the All-Star team up. I think it just would be a fantastic show, and everything. And so you said you had a topic for the leaderboard, didn't you? So you had something that you were going to say.
But first of all, can I just congratulate J.K. Simmons, J. Jonah Jameson for winning his Oscar last week.
Yeah, that's Kingpin. Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio. Yeah, fun.
Yeah.
First official photo, isn't it? It's brilliant. It looks fantastic.
Did you see the thing about the red costume? They've come to some agreement now, but
let's get this straight. You said that they are not using the red costume because it looks like the Flash. I said, well, everybody said that they used the black costume because of the
year one thing.
So, what's your new point? And is it official?
Well, I mean, I go on themanwithoutfear.com and apparently, one of the blind producers had let it slip. I don't know whether it was just to drum up publicity for it or that, but apparently Warner Brothers, they do the Flash, they were saying you can't do that because people would be too confused. But the comics have been going for 60 years and people know that. Apparently what they were going to do is go back and change the costume from red to black, but now they've come to an agreement and they can use it.
So they can use the red costume?
Yeah, they can use it.
So that means when you said that they were reshooting scenes and all that other kind of stuff.
They should have the red and yellow.
Oh, yeah. What was great about the red and yellow was the idea, the fact that because he was colorblind, well, he's blind, actually, but he's not going to see the colors of his costume. I thought that was fantastic. I think there will be a nod to the red and yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think they will have a nod. I think there will be an episode when he's testing his.
Do you know the Frank Miller run on Daredevil is probably the sole reason I'm a comic book fan. That just as a kid, it just I realised for the first time, although it was obvious that there was more to the comics than just.
Which one was the second run? Because the first one would be before you were born.
No, he's talking about the Frank Miller Year One stuff with Stick, and I mean, for me, Daredevil, I go back to the Owl and the Purple Man, all that kind of stuff. So
David Tennant.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
David Tennant's the Purple Man.
Oh yeah. What do you think about that, Doctor Who boy?
I think it's. I don't like David Tennant. To be honest with you, I think his career's become total overkill and he's overrated. And I think, but for the part of the character, I think it might be interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think he has a good what do you call that, TVQ for American and British audiences. Yeah. And I mean, there has to be this sense of seduction to the Purple Man. Yep. So I think he can really pull this off. Yeah. I mean, I
remember he was Casanova before he was Doctor Who.
Exactly. But I don't know what they're gonna do with the whole like Hellcat character because I mean, like the idea of Patsy Walker as the Hellcat. I mean, she actually was a popular romance character.
From the comics. Long before everyone.
So she was a huge character, and then what they just decided to do was in changing it around, they decided to give her superpowers, but she stole the suit from the original person that had it, kind of like Scott Lang, and that person was called the Cat. So, like, to bring in this Hellcat, Trisha Patsy Walker character, I don't know how they're going to do it.
It could just be a nice nod to the fans.
But how do you nod? I mean, do you nod to Patsy Walker or do you nod to Hellcat? Do you nod to the Cat or do you nod to the Cat?
You nod to Patsy Walker becoming Hellcat at some point.
Yeah, but
It's like Jim
not many
Corrigan
people gonna know what we know. I mean,
no, it's
we're
like Jim
men of a
Corrigan
certain
and
age.
Constantine, isn't it?
Oh, no, but you know what I mean,
Constantine.
though, right? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We're men of a certain age where it's kind of like, yeah, we remember all the way back then.
We remember the end of Larnham.
Yeah. I mean, to me, the best Hellcat was in the Avengers when she first showed up in the Avengers.
Yeah.
You know, like right before the whole time travel stuff.
Yeah, the time travel stuff was brilliant.
Oh, that was excellent art. That you know. So, what about you? Did you have any?
Can I just? So when you started reading Daredevil, was it Daredevil and the Black Widow? Because that was.
No.
That was before.
We're older than you.
Sorry,
that came later. I mean, because I would say for us, but for me, it was Black Widow and Hawkeye. That was the love thing going on, and then Daredevil came later. You know, Daredevil came later. But so Lee, did you have any topics?
Yes, I want to talk about one TV show that we are not talking about at all. One TV show that's in production that we should be very, very excited about that we're not getting excited about. And that was the whole script for the pilot episode was blown wide open on Bleeding Cool a couple of weeks ago. They had to take it back down, but they I saw it before it was there.
What's
Preacher.
Preacher, right, yeah.
Preacher.
Yeah.
And Preacher, they have Garth Ennis, Steve Dillon, Master.
Yeah.
They have
who's in that? Who did they say was rumored to be?
I can't remember.
Seth Rogen is producing it.
Oh God.
But
Green Hornet.
But
Oh God, no.
they have taken away. They've taken it,
God, no.
and they've basically gone.
I'm sorry, Chase.
No. Arseface.
Arseface.
Arseface. It's English.
I know Arseface. I know.
Arseface.
I remember.
Arseface.
So the script. I read some of the script, and this ties back to what we were talking about before. I've read some of the script, and they have not gone verbatim from the comics, and they've not gone completely away from the comics. What they've done is they've taken the essence of the comic and gone, right, let's tell the story. What do we do with these characters? This is what we do. So Arseface is in there. So Cassidy is a drunk Irish vampire. So Jesse Custer is a preacher who gets the voice of God. But in the first episode, you see the voice of God trying to find a vessel first, but destroying the vessels until it ends up with Jesse Custer. Jesse Custer isn't the first person. Jesse Custer is still the same sort of person. Tulip is an African American girl. So we've got to the point where
she's a sexy white girl before.
She was, and now she's a sexy African American girl. So what we've got a character where they've changed the ethnicity of the character, and it doesn't matter at all because it doesn't matter.
I guess it just matters on who's playing them. I mean, I don't think Seth Rogen will be
no, Seth Rogen's not playing him. No, he's not. He's not involved. He's just production.
Yeah, that's it. Just producing.
Yeah. But you sure? Because that's what he said with Green Hornet. You know, originally he wasn't supposed to play Green Hornet.
What did you make of that film, the Green Hornet film?
I don't make it. I've seen it, but I don't make it.
I
don't make anything of it. It was worse than Green Lantern. Some means that they shouldn't make any green shows anymore. You know what I mean?
It's kind of Green Hornet is such a cool, and Kato as well.
Kato was awesome, but it was just.
I would have preferred something more like a Christopher Nolan Green Hornet than what we ended up with.
I think anybody would have, but I think that's the problem was that Seth Rogen could do much anything. So I think when he was writing the script, I think he just said, you know what? Instead of making this guy sexy, why don't we go totally opposite? And he turns like this schlub of guy into a superhero. That'd be really good, right? And then he talks like this. And,
that would be really good because I'm this schlub of a guy and I managed to get away with making a career as being this schlub of a guy. I managed to become famous and knocked up despite the fact there's no world in the universe where Katherine Heigl is going to look at Seth Rogen. It's not going to happen.
No, but it was also that thing about everybody knew that Kato was the hero, you know, but that was when Kato was played by Bruce Lee. Yeah. So then he was like, look, I'll just be doing all the goofy stuff and you do all the superheroics and it'll be great and we can sell it this way. And everybody was like, you know, you look at the movie like, what the, you know what I mean?
Okay, here's a question. Fictionally, you probably know that the Green Hornets, great.
Lone Ranger, that fictional.
Oh, for God's sake, you could have had a bit of suspense there, Chase. He's right.
I'm sorry, but it's true.
Let's
Dan Reed. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We have a lineage of very bad films related to each other.
Yeah, well, Lone Rangers never got it right. I mean, that was another property that's never gotten the film right.
Clinton Spills. That
was kind of good.
Yeah, I mean,
that's because I was such a fan.
It's such a good concept. It's such.
Yeah, but
there's space for good Cowie's film.
Why doesn't it work? You know,
Westerns don't work anymore.
Well, they they keep churning them out, and I think what ruined wrestlers was that TV show Wildside when they started to do all the fancy gun work. I mean, Silverado to me was kind of like the last great western, but Lone Ranger is a good concept.
Was Unforgiven after Silverado?
Okay.
It was
another
92.
Yeah.
Tombstone there.
Long.
Kurt Russell.
Long.
Kurt Russell's
really long.
something Doc Hardy. It may have been appropriate and
Val Kilmer was excellent in that. But.
Yeah, he was Doc Hardy, wasn't he?
Oh, was it Val Kilmer?
Yeah, Val Kilmer was Doc Hardy.
Was,
yeah, I'll be your Huckleberry. That was his line. Sorry, but he played up the whole lung cancer scenario of the character. But I mean, either way, you're right. But I just think the Lone Ranger was fantastic as a kid. It was fantastic on radio. It was just a fantastic concept of its time, and it was very hard to recreate that in the modern day. And the more they modernized it, like with that whole Johnny Depp finesse fiasco, it was just kind of like it just doesn't work.
You know what's funny? When they got it announced, it was like Johnny Depp will play Tonto, and the whole world went, "Are you sure?"
Yeah.
Why?
Do you know what's funny?
Why? At what point in a meeting does somebody go, "You've got a meeting, you've got all these executives around the table going, who are we going to get as Tonto?" Johnny Depp.
Yeah. Johnny Depp is quickly.
Well, when Johnny Depp played Dead Man, that's what he was really doing, was doing Dead Man 2. You know what I mean? With that Jim Jarmusch.
Yeah, but Dead Man wasn't a comedy, was it?
Well, it wasn't supposed to be. But like,
it's a funny anecdote. It's funny. When he was coming with what he wanted, the concept of what he wanted Tonto to look like, he was looking through this book on Native American Indians.
And then
the bird, like that, I want that. So the makeup person did, we'll do that. And then on the other page, the bird was flying. The bird wasn't actually on his head; it was just in that shot.
Yeah.
And Depp had kind of latched onto that. But he's quickly becoming the new Burt Reynolds. He's doing films that are below.
Joke. He's beyond the joke. There's no way of saving Johnny Depp's career. Obviously, he's a lot richer than me, and he's probably very, very happy making these films. But he hasn't made a good film in
ages.
20 years.
A lot of people think that the first Pirates was good. I've never seen any pirate movie.
Johnny Depp is good in the first Pirates.
That's what I'm trying to say.
When he's on screen, he's good. The rest of the film is a dog.
Yeah, well, the rest of the series, because it's just like it was a slow joke that never ran its course. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it was just the worst.
I think,
but he's done nothing since then. I mean, all these. Ed Wood is my favorite.
Oh, I love Ed Wood. Yeah.
My favorite.
Because he's playing small.
He's
internalising everything else. He's externalising when he's playing big. And what's the new one he's playing? Where he's playing a detective, Mordecai.
Which is like a rip of a Clouseau and Poirot.
Yeah, but played by Leslie Phillips. But it would be better played by Leslie Phillips.
Right, so nice. So I mean, I guess in closing out the show is that there was one final rant that we had this week, and that was on the upcoming Heroes Reborn. Right. And Ian, felt what the point. I think it's classic in the sense of the title of no, I meant the title Heroes Reborn. I thought that was really nice because it's based on the comics. But I've been watching a lot about this, and I don't know why everybody's just saying that the third season was shite, but nobody's talking about how the third season actually was villains, not heroes.
Yeah, but the second season was shite.
Yeah,
the third season I think they've given up on by.
Yeah,
but they were trying to humanise, and they decided very rightly that the best thing about the entire show was Siler.
Yeah. Well, so he lasted way too long, though.
Yeah, they tried to make him say, for me, Heroes, the point where, what was Milo Ventimiglia's character called?
Peter.
The moment when Peter went into the future and confronted his brother, who was actually the shapeshifter Siler, and that's the end of Heroes. The last episode of season 1 was crap. It was a really bad last episode.
Anticlimactic.
It was anticlimactic. The show should have ended there and never done another second, because everything else after that was postscript, and it was pointless postscript.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that's Hollywood, where they like it's just like Lost, where it's like, hey,
no,
we gotta keep this. Well, I love Lost. I'm surprised you do.
Oh, it's fantastic.
You've seen all
the whole thing. I got up at 4 a.m. in the morning to watch Lost live.
Seriously, yeah. I would have thought that you would have been a hater on it.
No,
but
fantastic.
I love Lost, but Lost, it's like I think people need to binge Heroes. That's what I'm looking to do. Is like you need to binge it as opposed to carrying the weight of it's shite, it went down. and seeing what, hopefully there's a mythology and the reason. Like, I saw that they said that the last episode was when Hayden Panettiere, announces to the world that she got powers by, jumping off the roller coaster. And that's where they ended it. And, like, everybody was up in arms. They're like, what? So coming back to it, supposedly now.
Reacting to an event.
Yeah, so now everybody knows that there are heroes out there. But they couldn't get the cast. They couldn't get the original cast back. And rightfully so, because why should you go back to that show if everybody's, hating on it and everything? So it's going to be a whole different storyline and everything. But the Horn Rim Glasses, HRG, Jack Cole is going to be there.
The problem was too much revolved around them, and they tried to make everything far too interlinked, and everything became part of the same family.
It was
overthought. It was like EastEnders. Everybody had a mistake.
Yeah, because she ended up being like the illegitimate daughter of the senator who was the Superman,
and she was Sila's mum, and it was all.
Wow, I didn't hear that. Sila's mom.
Hopefully, they can. There's goodwill there, and I think hopefully it's a chance for redemption, and they can do.
Yeah, but I don't know if you could redeem something that everybody's so much hating on. But I mean, like, hopefully there will be
reinvent. Because you're right about the fact they did pave the way for every other superhero thing that we have at the moment.
Yeah.
Without heroes, heroes made it acceptable to everybody to watch superheroes.
Yeah.
And without that, there wouldn't be any Green Arrow. There wouldn't be any Flash. It wouldn't happen.
No. I mean, yeah. Even like I said, even though people wanted to point out previously was said in other things, it's just the way it was done. Heroes just was in the genius first season, and everything. And hearing that it was coming back, I just thought that was a really good thing, So, but anyway, so we're probably running on time now and stuff like that. That was a really good episode. Missing the Brooks, he's all good. We'll be back next week, and then hopefully we'll be in a different cold place. And all right,
every year.
All right, so anyway, I'd like to thank, like Ian here, over here, the Canaan Master, always out there with the phone, getting all the digits up there. I'd like to thank the Bixby, wearing those, like, Elton John glasses.
Which you can't see on the audio podcast.
I have the power!
Right. I'd like to thank Jackson for filling up the seat over here on the side with the Brooks and stuff like that, quiet as ever, that's all good. And of course, you want to thank the Chase Meister, but, you can see us on YouTube eventually, but we're on Mixcloud and iTunes and
iTunes by the end of the week. Always up by about Friday.
So thank you very much, and come next week with more happening news.
Flame on.
See ya.